Hey, Billy Glisson, founder of PowerCore 360. In today's video, I'm going to explain the difference between instruction and training. Stick around to the end of the video. I'll give you free access to our power hitting and vertical jump private Facebook page. You'll see the kind of analyses we do and how we train athletes to hit harder and jump higher. Parents call me all the time inquiring about our 8-hour power hitting clinics. And they say to me, if my son or daughter can just get there, they'll have it. They'll have that knowledge to know how to hit the ball harder. And I'll say to them, actually, that's not really true. There's a big difference between instruction and training. That's what we're going to dig into in this video. While instruction provides knowledge, and knowledge is a critical part of learning and development, it takes more than knowledge to develop the power hitting skills to be able to automatically hit the ball harder in the middle of a game or a match. It requires training. Training to build muscle memory. Muscle memory is the instructions that are stored in the brain and the nervous system that allow the athlete, once they've trained the movements, how to hit the ball hard with greater arm speed, greater power, and be able to do it automatically without conscious thought or with minimal thought in the middle of a match. In our clinics, we teach athletes and parents the critical elements required to hit a ball with power and arm speed, and to do it without injury. We first teach them in day one the importance of mechanics, power hitting mechanics. We teach them what those mechanics look like, what they feel like, and how to perform them. But it's just knowledge at this point in time. On day two, we go into training mode, and we explain to the athletes as we get into the strengthening of specific movements, of specific muscles around the shoulder, the spine, and the hips, how to hit the ball harder so they can hit the ball harder, greater arm speed, and avoid injury. But that becomes a training mode. When they leave the clinic, they're going to have to learn how to actually go train the movements, the mechanics we teach, and train the strength conditioning exercises so they can hit even harder and avoid pain and injury. So in our clinics, we educate parents and athletes. They need to understand that when they leave the clinic, if they don't use the knowledge and information, the instruction we provided, they don't use it, they're going to lose it. Within a week, if they haven't started repetitively training the movements and doing the strength exercises, the information's lost. It was in the forefront of their mind. They're no longer thinking about it. It's gone. They have to repetitively train those movements, doing those mechanics and those strength conditioning exercises to train the movements into muscle memories where they can automatically, or at least with minimal thought, go into a match, go into a game environment and hit with power, performing those mechanics, avoiding pain and injury, and do it automatically. You see, muscle memory takes thousands and thousands of mindful, focused repetitions, not just unconsciously or mindlessly performing movements, but with thought, with focus, performing movements, understanding what's the correct movement and what's not. That mindful information or mindful focus takes the information out of the front of the brain, builds it into the brain, builds it into the nervous system and into the muscles, if you would, via muscle memory, so these movements can be performed automatically in a game or match environment. Now, all the time I have parents that come to me and say, geez, my son or daughter's doing really well when they're hitting off the hook, but then the ball goes in the air and everything's lost. Well, it's not lost. They haven't done enough mindful repetitions on the ground and then transitioning into the air to build it into muscle memory yet. And here's the problem. When you're hitting off a hook or a device that's holding the ball, it's really good in the early part of the development for an athlete. They can learn to turn their whole body, swing their arm in a good path, do these things with power and speed. But what's going on is the ball's not moving. Now we go into an environment where the ball's not in a hook, it's not being held by that tethering device, and now the ball's actually moving. What does the brain do? The brain makes the conscious thought of them trying to think about opening their chest, closing their hips, swinging straight, creating power, landing on 2 feet, all these mechanics that we teach them how to do that are really valuable. But now the brain is now consciously caught up in, guess what? The ball is moving. So the body and the brain more specifically has to adjust to the flight of the ball, the speed of the approach. Now I got to go forward, I got to stop, I got to go vertical, I got to open my chest, I got to close my hips, I got to swing straight, I got to turn my body, land on 2 feet. And by the way, it has to hit the ball with power and speed over the net to a precise location, right? There's so many things going on, but the brain makes the conscious part of the brain where the athlete is thinking take a back seat because the brain's trying to figure out all this stuff out. Unless the athlete learns how to focus their mindset on one thing, it might be opening the chest, closing the hips, swinging the arm, landing on 2 feet. Take one thing, focus on that, repetitively, mindfully rep that. That's the only way the athlete's going to be able to go from hitting on the ground into the air and being able to start build the muscle memory to do this in the air, right, automatically. So it takes mindful reps over time with focus. So once again, hopefully you realize it's not just knowledge or information or instruction. An athlete to become world-class or even proficient, somewhat proficient at having even, I hate to say, even challenge the word mastery, right? It's not even mastery until it becomes trained. So it's not just instruction. Now you actually have to go train the movements with precise thought to build it into muscle memory over time. Focus, thousands and thousands of reps. It's not something that happens in a clinic. In a clinic environment, we do a great job of having athletes in a couple of hours learn how to perform those power hitting movements both on the ground and in the air. But once again, it's in the forefront of their mind. And if they don't go train those movements repetitively with mindful focus over the next few weeks, it's going to be gone. So there is a difference between instruction and training. Athletes have to do both. They won't just be able to go to a clinic or to a lesson and learn the knowledge and take it into the game. It has to be trained over time. Okay, I told you if you stuck around to the end, I'd give you free access to our private Facebook group for power hitting and vertical jump. The information, the link is down below in the description below. Click there. It's going to ask you when you go into the Facebook. You're going to have to request access. You're going to have to answer the question, why do you want access to the group? If you don't answer the question, we're not letting you in. Please take advantage of that. There's great information in there in terms, you'll see how we train athletes to hit harder, jump higher. Take advantage of that. Hey, if you like this video, like it down below. If you want more information like this, subscribe to our channel. We'll send you those videos automatically. You'll get those updates. If you want further information about our power hitting clinics, our training, right, our 8-week power hitting masterclass, vertical jump masterclass, or any of the other programs we provide, click the link below to go to powercore360.com.